All right, we're gonna brush the pool. And to do that, we don't need this. It's probably something you'd want to have done beforehand. And there's no leaves, but of course the filter runs itself and you don't always need this unless you drop something into the bottom of the pool. So we'll leave that back over here. We need this one. Now, these are interchangeable. I like this one because it extends to a great length. And you might say, that's too tall, Ryan. Well, the pool's deep. It's really deep. So if I'm doing this, and you can start in the shallow end, I like to start the shallow end and push it into the deep end. A lot of the algae or contaminants will kind of rest along the liner glued pieces. They create a straight line. But if you push down, this is usually before you shock or after you shock. Some people have different strategies. I do it, unless I can see the algae, I'll do it before I shock. Get the contaminants in the air and then I'll liquefy shock. So pushing down all the way, some people do a squat. I'm not trying to throw my back out, like this hurts if you do it 100 times. So you're just brushing, and when you brush, you're watching at first. You're watching what it is you're brushing. It's contaminants like algae blowing up from the bottom. You need to nuke it. You need to shock it right away. And to shock it, you're gonna pour a full 10 liters, which is one yellow bucket. For the equation, this pool used 9 liters, so if you don't use 90% of it, you haven't done enough. And then for extras, we have uses for other pieces of chlorine later. Like that water bucket right there that gets a little algae filled in the hot weather. That's why it's painted white. So yeah, you're just gonna go around, you're gonna brush all of it. Go down, this is really useful for getting slippery surfaces off. All right, so you're gonna brush it. I'm actually gonna show you how I brush it. I pull it all the way up. Two hands. Sometimes I switch my arms. And that's the middle thing. Go all the way. But what I really like to do is start in the shallow end, and that's kind of where you're going to see the algae the most, because that jet is going to push it in a line right along here. So, I might start at the stairs first. When it's off the stairs, I'll push it all the way out into the slope, going into the shallow end, going into the deep end. So I'll do the walls first, and then I'll do the ground. That's my strategy. You don't need this fully extended. There are wires in the area you got to be mindful of. But essentially that's brushing the pool. You're looking and watching what's in there before you adding shock chlorine. Liquid chlorine will kill the algae. The most effective. Do not use the granular. Granulars I found it personally that it's not effective for shocking it, no matter what quantity I use. Well, I don't like using too much more than it's needed. So I found about 1.5 kilograms enough granular to shock it, but I found liquid chlorine to be actually the effective one. So I'll use granular to maintain, and the pucks to maintain weekly. But when it comes to shocking, if there's stuff moving around, just nuke it. And once a week, if you have a lot of people using it every day, especially a lot of people, yeah, you need to nuke it after they're gone, and then measure the quality of the water about 48 hours after. All right, that's what I would do. I'd move it around. This needs to be done only to check for algae, and then you got to do the whole pool if there's algae, and then you add the shock.